2020 has been a crazy year, and it's also been crazy inside of the photography and video industry. There's been a lot going on. In this video, we want to talk about some of the incredible accessories, gadgets and gizmos that we've got our hands on during this year of 2020. This is our year in review of accessories, gadgets and gizmos.
We are just going to go through some of our favourite accessories and gadgets that we've got to play with over the year. Now, just a quick disclaimer, some of these might not have necessarily come out this year, but it is just our favourite bits and bobs that we've managed to get our hands on and create videos about. So I'm just going to start us off by introducing us all. So I'm George, and with me today I've got Shawn and Amy. And let's get cracking. So Shawn, I think you're going to start us off.
Yeah, well, firstly, NANLITE PavoTube II 6C. I've got one here actually. It's a rather small little LED light, battery powered, and it's RGB, which means you can change the colours to pretty much anything that you like. The Pavo tubes, they come in various sizes. This is the 6C, which is the smallest of the range. We do have videos in the description of the majority of the products we'll be talking about today, so you can look that up if you're interested. But Amy, you've actually got the 30C, which is the biggest of the PavoTube range.
Yes, I do. It's what I'm actually using right now to give this sort of blue hue to the side of me. Really, really useful set of lights. Shawn, I actually like the size of yours. I think it's really good for sticking in the bag and sort of always having a continuous light with you. I used the 30C recently to do a portrait shoot with the EOS R5 and the RF 85mm. I love continuous lighting. Actually, it was really nice having such huge control over the colours that I could produce. And I can imagine as well, if you're sort of into creative video, having all the effects on there as well and just so easy to program. Really, really nice, no matter what size you fancy for the type of project that you're working on. And actually from that shoot, I was really, really happy with the results. It's probably one of the nicest looking shoots in my opinion that I've done in a long time. I really, really like the colours and I really want to get some prints done. Which leads me nicely into a couple of printers that I got my hands on earlier this year. Got my hands on the Epson SCP-700, which is an A3 Plus printer. Now, I really, really like using this one. It's nice and small for the size of prints that it can produce. Really beautiful looking printer. It's definitely been made for somebody who's got a nice stylish office and you want to put that in there and not sort of have to look at an ugly printer every day. The P700 was a really, really beautiful one. And I've got a list of a load of the products that we'll be going through today, and that's not the only printer on there. I also got a chance to have a look at the Canon imagePROGRAF Pro 300. Now, haven't put a video out of that yet. We do have one coming. So if you want to find out about the Pro 300 from Canon, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. That printer was also an A3 Plus. I also got my hands on an A3 Plus in the Canon one, and they were both really, really strong. They had different strengths. The Epson P700, that had a touchscreen menu system, was really, really easy to look through. Really enjoyed printing with it. The Canon was a little bit bigger, so that's a downside from my point of view. But I would say that the Canon software that came with it for printing from was actually really, really nice to use. It made sure that your prints were very accurate between the screen and the printer. And also I found the edge-to-edge printing was super easy with the Canon as well, because it had a little bit of software that basically helped to line up the paper. So if you didn't get it quite right, it would just minutely adjust it inside the printer to make sure it's dead straight, which obviously helps with the edge-to-edge printing. But the P700 also could do the edge-to-edge printing, also beautiful colours. So depending on what you need, I think one of those two printers is probably a really good choice for most photographers out there as an office high-quality print with prints that you could sell. Really enjoyed using both of those. If you wanted to do more editing to those images before you printed them though, I did get my hands on the Loupedeck CT editing console, which allows you to micro adjust whilst you're in editing programs. It's got loads of customizable buttons, and actually the whole thing can be easily customized using buildable profiles on an app that they have that's very, very simple to use, and you can use it across a lot of different apps. You can customize it to almost everything out there. Shawn actually got to use the Loupedeck Live, which is a Wex exclusive product. He's got it right there.
As you can see, it's actually like takes a lot away from the Loupedeck CT, but just kind of cuts the bottom half of it off. So it's a lot smaller in design, but retains a lot of the functionality. It uses the same software. So it's highly customizable and already comes with a lot of default workspaces for you to work from. Lots of profiles that connect with the full Adobe suite, so you can use Premiere Pro for color grading, just editing in general, and you can like program up all the hotkeys that you need on the fly as well. Another thing that is really good with the Loupedeck Live is that it is also really good for live streaming, hence the name. You can like wire it into OBS, and you can use it basically as a switcher to get a bit more creativity when you're on a live stream. As another accessory for live streaming, however, I'm actually using it now. It's the Rode NT USB microphone. As you can probably hear, it's really good quality, very professional, very good for people who are getting into voiceover work, really good for podcasts, really good for, live streams as well. But this sits in the price of about £169. So if your budget is more like, say, I would spend £100 on a microphone, but not £169, then you can instead go for the Rode NT USB Mini, which is a lot smaller in form factor, but does carry across a lot of the same quality along with it. The main selling point for both of these is that the clue is in the name. You can plug it straight into your computer without the need of an XLR adapter to get the sound across into your PC, which is really incredibly useful.
Do you know what? On the topic of the microphones we're using today, I actually also am using a product that I've reviewed this year, and that is the Sennheiser MKE 200. Now, it's basically just one of those tiny little mics that you pop on the top of your camera. It's quite similar to the Rode Video Mic series that is very, very popular. And what's really cool about this mic is actually it's slightly less directional than your typical microphone, which I quite like because I've just been sticking it on the top of my camera when I go out and about just to get like nice general atmos, rather than having that really, really isolated sound. Maybe it's not quite as perfect for using this, but I really wanted to use it for the video just to show you guys what it can do.
How's it all going today, Amy?
It's going well so far, I think. I'm excited to, this is a bit of a different type of review for us, isn't it? We want to try and we want people to know what we think about the cameras a bit more in a unique position.
80% of the video I shot in AF, so I really, really gave it a go. And I did get on with it, I'd say the majority of the time. Handheld, a lot of it I was shooting on a 70-200.
Yeah.
If you want something that records sound that's a little bit more isolated, say like you're doing an interview with someone, then something that we did a review on this year was actually by Saramonic called the BLINK 500s. And what's really good about those is that, you get the wired microphone that you can clip onto your collar or your shirt that you pick up someone's voice with. But also, if you're a bit more on the fly and you're doing, say, like Vox Pops or something, and you really want to isolate that audio with someone because you're in a busy area, then you can just unplug the 3.5mm jack for that microphone.
Cool. And
then in the actual transmitter itself is an inbuilt microphone, so you can literally just clip that straight onto the lapel instead. A very flexible microphone. We've got the link in the description to the full review of that if you want to check it out.
Oh no, this was set to manual focus. I don't think I did the test properly.
Now, when you're doing all that recording, you do need to save stuff somewhere. And a lot of people obviously prefer to use portable drives because a lot of us are on laptops now. It's nice to have a portable drive to work from. So earlier this year, I got my hands on the ArmorATD, which is like a tough portable drive. I did a video on this. I genuinely thought I was going to be the most bored I've ever been during a video. You can only say so much about a hard drive, but actually it was a bit of fun. It was torrential rain, but it was a laugh showing off just how tough this hard drive was. George has got his own one as well.
Yeah. I use it every day.
So the one I stood on and dropped on the beach, and if you want to watch that video, feel free, link in the description, is the one I've been using actually for the past 6 months. And what I would say about that is not only has it been completely reliable and absolutely great. But the USB-C cable that comes with it, George, I don't know if you found the same thing. I find with USB-C, the same as micro USB actually, I find the USB-C comes unconnected very easily. Not that it pulls out of the port,
it's so annoying.
but it will quite often disconnect. It's a nightmare. Whereas with these, they have a really like stiff USB-C cable, and it doesn't move about too much. It almost locks into place.
Yeah, you can really feel it like click into place when I pop it in my Mac, and it makes such a difference because especially when you're like editing off drives and stuff, you've got quick turnaround. Like the last thing you want is for your hard drive to be coming loose, because that's just like that's every editor's nightmare.
Yeah, I mean, it might sound like a small detail, but actually it's something we can tell you after months of using it, which we don't often get the chance to do. Normally we have things for a small amount of time, whereas we're both actually using these as sort of a standard drive. So it's nice that we're able to share that information with you. But if you're not just wanting to use a portable drive and you want something a little bit more, on your desk, then we also got our hands on the G-Speed Shuttle 4-bay. Now we have the 24 terabyte version, but this thing you can change to whatever you need. You can put SATA drives in it, you can run SSDs. Shawn, you did the introductory video for this. It's a piece of kit, isn't it? It's very solid and well built.
Yeah, it's very robust, and you can transport it as well. It's got a top handle so you can move it around if you need to. So if you're moving from location to location and you just need a big hub to store loads of data that you're going to need on the fly, then it's really good for that. But yeah, it basically, you can put in 4 different hard drives or SSDs, and then when you plug it into your computer, it basically references all of that space that you have as one hard drive. So it's really good for just putting loads of data in one location.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, we actually got it for when we were all going to be in the office, so we could have this big hub between. But it did not work out. It has not worked out. But it is a fantastic drive system actually, and it does feel very solid, which is something for me with drives. You always want that sort of knowledge that your drive is going to be built well, and if you knock it or something hits it, it's not going to delete everything immediately. So that is nice to know. Now going back to actually shooting images and video, back to the start of the process, we got a chance to have a play with Three-Legged Thing's new tripods, Ray and Bucky. What great names!
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
I love
I've
the naming system.
I've got one right here.
Yes,
as well.
you've got Bucky, haven't you?
I've got Buckster.
The Buckster.
Yeah, like look how small that is, and it's really light as well. And when you actually stand it up and you put a camera on it, it's as tall as I am, which actually isn't saying that much really, but but what I really like about it is that you can literally just attach it to the side of your camera bag, take it with you on the fly. You don't have to like sling another tripod bag with you if you don't want to. I really like that kind of everything just condensed into one backpackable package that you can take with you when you're off to do photography or even video.
And George, how tall are you?
Tall.
Well, that's the thing. I'm just like 6'1",
he is tall, isn't he?
And like I didn't really realise this and appreciate this until I started this job, but actually, because we're using photography tripods a lot because we're always on the go, most photography tripods I am considerably taller than. Therefore, the amount of piece to cameras I've been shooting with my legs slightly bent, just like kind of like hunched over, and it's really annoying. Like it's something I shouldn't really have to be thinking about to try and make sure those eye lines are correct. So that's actually why Amy gave it to us, is because I remember seeing Bucky and just being like, oh my god, a portable, light, simple tripod that I can bring out and about with me that is actually going to give me the eye line I need. And then somehow it's now fallen into Shawn's hands.
Yeah, Shawn's somehow stolen this from you. Now, they do also come with some great accessories. Now, Shawn, you mentioned the bag that it comes in, which I love. It's a really nice bag. But they have a little accessory pouch on those bags as well. So you can put things like spare feet, because you can get loads of spare feet for Three-Legged Things. I got some out here. So these are their stilettos. Their naming convention, honestly.
Stilettos.
But the stilettos, so they've got a big spike on them basically, so great for really muddy, rubbish ground. And then they also have their Vans, which are their like flat rubbery ones as well. And you can, if you want a more spiky end, you can then put your Vans on your stilettos. I mean, that doesn't really work, but the feet do for the tripod. Now, the other thing they come with, this is so important. I love this. One of my favourite things I've discovered this year about Three-Legged Thing tripods. I don't know if they've had this in other models, but they came with these. So good. So they've got basically everything you need for undoing and doing up tripod plates. Now, I don't know about you two, but I'm always like, oh, where's a key that will work? Oh, hang on, have I got 5p in my bag?
Yeah.
Whereas this is such a good tool.
Purpose built.
And it's, hit the mic. But it also has a little clamp on it, so if you've got a belt, I mean, I don't know who wears a belt with like an accessory pouch on, but you can clip it on. It's got a little key thing here, or of course you can keep it in that bag that the tripod's actually in. So really, really great accessory. They're a fantastic sort of all-in-one package. And then we had even more supports coming in the way of gimbals. And George, I know you got to play with the Ronins.
Yeah, I got to play with the RS2 and the RSC2. Now, obviously, the Ronin S line was just such a good series of one-handed gimbals. They're really, really popular. So I was really excited to try the new ones out, and they didn't disappoint. They've just been improved stabilization. But actually, what was most exciting to me was, surprisingly, the RSC2, which is the lower-end model. And that's because they added this feature where you can basically like snap down the handle, and it basically comes into this really compact size. It's probably about this big. So it's probably the first gimbal I've ever used that I could comfortably put in my kit bag and not have to bring a separate case for, which is such a big deal for me, and I really, really loved it because of that reason in particular.
Yeah, that's so cool that it makes it more sort of travel accessible, that
Exactly.
gimbal. Now, I had the Crane, the Zhiyun Crane 3S earlier in the year that I got to have a play with. And that doesn't go down very small. It's a kind of weird design. I actually like the design in terms of usability, but it is a heavy gimbal. It does have a massive payload. And you can put an extension arm on to take sort of pro video cameras. So it's built to be a hefty piece of kit. But it was very comfortable to use, especially low down shots, sort of running shots and things like that. Shawn, I know you got a chance to use the 3S. I don't know about you, but I found it incredibly easy to balance because of the locks that it has as well.
Those locks make it very user friendly for anyone who is not used to basically balancing a gimbal. I remember the earlier models of gimbals that we were seeing, you literally had to hold on to every axis all at the same time and try and balance it that way. But because you've got those locks, you can isolate each axis and then balance each of them independently. And then when you unlock them all and you're good to go, it's pretty balanced, you know. It's so much easier to work with.
We've actually got a video for balancing the Zhiyun Crane 3S. There's a link in the description, but that is obviously across all gimbals, that you balance them all in the same way. It's just a lot easier with the Crane 3S. And it didn't sort of stop there. Shawn, you had a couple of kind of more niche accessories, right, that are kind of gimbally.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's the Genie One, which is not a gimbal at all. It's actually like you attach it to like sliders, your manual sliders without any electronics in there, and with the tether ropes either end, it basically converts your sliders into electric sliders, and it's all controllable through an app and everything. Really useful. There's a video in the description if you want to check it out. But yeah, the one that you're referring to, which is a gimbal, it's not a conventional gimbal, because we're used to seeing 3-axis gimbals, so it's got tilt, pan and roll, which are the name of the 3 axes. But this one was a 2-axis gimbal where it just focused on pan and tilt.
Yeah.
Now it comes with a wireless remote, so you can control it. You can use it as a tripod head if you want, due to the form factor that it takes. Again, video in the description if you want to check it out. Couple of interesting bits of kit. Yeah,
they can turn sort of normal things that you have, like your big video tripod or like your manual slider, into something a little bit more special, can't they? Which is quite nice.
Like be a little bit more hands-free. I think that's the purpose of them.
And they can just up your production value for, you know, that little bit more. Now, back to slightly more gimbally style of products. I mean, this is technically a camera, George, that you've got at the moment, but we can include it in this list as you didn't have it before we did our cameras year in review. So what have you got?
So I've got the DJI Pocket II. So it is technically a camera, but it's also a gimbal, so we don't really know where to put this one. But it's really cool. It's literally about this big, absolutely tiny. And it's pretty much an action camera that's been put on a gimbal. So it's so cool because of the size that you can basically go out and about and have that flexibility of that tiny action camera. It's got a whole load of frame rates and resolutions. But you get that really professional, clean, stabilized footage. And for somebody like me, it's been such a cool product because I'm a skater, I'm quite an active person, I like to go out and about and a lot. And often, you know, when I'm skating, I don't want to go bring a big camera with me. It's just so much to like think about and worry about smashing and all of that stuff, that if I just have this tiny little Pocket 2, I just chuck it in my bag, I forget it's there, but then when I see a good clip, I see a cool moment of something interesting happen on the street, or one of my friends just lands an awesome trick, then I can just whip it out and get a really nice, clean, stabilized shot. And actually, I was very, very impressed with the image quality coming out of the sensor.
Yeah, I mean, I had the Pocket 1, which obviously this has had massive improvements over the Pocket 1, and I just loved it. I loved having it in my bag to just, as you say, just get things that you would have missed otherwise. Like, you'd have to get on a mobile phone. It's really nice for that. But they also released, DJI were on a bit of a roll this year. They also released this, which is the OM4, or as some people would call it, the Osmo Mobile, but I think they've changed their naming strategy a little bit. Now, there were big differences between this and previous models. I've actually got the box for the Osmo Mobile 2, which I will put up here. And as you can see, it was a very different style of project. One, it was massive. 2, it took batteries, and 3, it had a clamp for the camera here. However, with the OM4, this is a magnet, so all you do is you literally just pop this up and then you've got your gimbal ready to go. I haven't actually put out a video on this yet, so I got to have a play with it a little bit earlier on, and then I've just been sent this model so we can do a little bit more with it. I was super impressed at how easy it was to balance. It's got something called Active Track 3.0, which is made so it'll recognise kids, adults, pets, and you can literally just draw on your phone screen where you want it to track, and then it will just track them. So really, really nice that. But I also love that it is just this magnet clamp on it. Now, if you don't want to stick a little plate to your phone, you can it does have a very, very slimline clamp that is magnetised that will go straight onto this, which is still a lot nicer than we've seen in the models previously. However, if you already use a mounting system, maybe for your car, like I've got a Mega Mounts one here, and I already use that. So what I can do is I can use my Mega Mounts one, because they're all exactly the same, and that will go straight onto it. Now, what it doesn't have is the locking system. The one that comes with the OM4 does have this locking system, and you know when you've got it in the right place, because this is just slightly beveled and it will like lock into the right magnetic place, which is better, of course, but it is nice to know that if you've already got something there, you can just put this on quick and it will still work, which is really, really cool. But yeah, if you want to see more of the OM4, because I definitely want to use it more, make sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, because we'll be definitely revisiting that one. Now, another thing we've got to come, which I literally had delivered, I think it was yesterday morning, was the DJI Mini 2 drone. Can't wait to do stuff with this. Really, really excited. It's a really cool drone. Massive improvements over the original model, right? Huge improvements.
Yeah.
So Amanda, you've probably seen her on her channel. She's done quite a bit of drone work with us. She works in our contact centre, and she actually owns the Mini One. As she was saying, this has just got all the upgrades over the Mini One that she wanted to see. Huge amount of upgrades there. So we've got, it's now 249 grams. That's how much it weighs. Incredibly light. 249 grams. It fits in the palm of your hand. The Fly More combo comes with 3 batteries. It comes with extra blades. It's in a bag ready to go. It's got the new controller style from DJI, which is really, really nice. The phone mounts at the top, and you literally just pull the little mounting bracket up and put your phone in there. It's got 31 minutes max fly time now. And the batteries are considerably small. They're this big, so I think that's very, very impressive. So in terms of a drone to travel with when we can all travel again and do stuff again, I think this is going to be really popular with a lot of people, and I cannot wait to check it out. And even though it's November, I'm not writing it off, because it does have level 5 wind resistance as well. So even on a blustery day, you can still take it out. You have to remember, obviously, it's a little drone, so it will get moved about, but level 5 wind resistance from a drone this small, really, really impressive. So really looking forward to having a play with that. Again, subscribe, turn on notifications to see that coming up. Now we're all pretty much working from home, shooting at home, we wanted to up our production value a little bit, because in our camera release year in review, I wasn't using a bedsheet as a background. No, that wasn't me. George, I know both of us were struggling a little bit in terms of our home setup. Shawn's lucky. He's got a beautiful, beautiful setup at home, which is very pretty, but we don't. So our next thing we're going to talk about is actually this, our backgrounds. And we are matching. George and I have actually the same background, but yours is a different colour, George, isn't it?
Yeah, ours. So we've got the same background. I actually tried to match with Amy and wear the same clothes, but she obviously didn't get my memo. But yeah, we've both got the same background because I was just fed up of doing all of these Zoom calls, all of these team calls, filming my product shots, and either having to go outside to get a good, interesting background, or just like kind of having to move everything about all the time to try and have a clean wall to shoot on. So I asked Amy, hey, why don't we get some backgrounds? I think it will really take our videos to the next level, and I'm really, really pleased with them. Like, I just think it looks so much more professional than what is actually behind this, rest assured. And it's just taken my product shots and all of that to another level. But also, one thing is really cool is these are they're huge. They're absolutely huge, these things. Like, I've actually got mine wedged between my bed and my ceiling. It's that tall. It's taller than me. But they pack down into these tiny little cases. Like, they're really, really small. I think she's got us there. Yep. And I do have to admit, I had to watch more than one YouTube video to figure out how to put it in that case. It was really, really difficult. I don't know. Have you tried yours yet, Amy?
No, I'm literally leaving it here, and then it will just have to stay with the house if we move, unfortunately, because I'm not brave enough to try and get it back in that bag.
We're going to show you the easiest way to fold a pop-up background. If you're in a hurry, this is also the fastest way.
That's what I did before! Okay.
Left hand.
Oh my god.
That's part of the paint job. Yeah.
So these are Interfit pop-up backgrounds that we've both got. But Shawn, you've also got an Interfit background, haven't you?
Yeah, I have actually. There's a link in the description to the video, but I have a green screen pop-up background.
Nice.
And it's really good for if you don't want to set in stone what your background's going to be, so you can swap that out in like post-production. Again, link in the description. You can learn all about that and how to do that. Very, very useful, especially for anyone who wants to do some creative VFX or anything like that. Very good for creatives.
It doesn't have to be creative though, right? You can get pretty serious with a green screen background. I know you, Shawn. I know you like to do your pretty serious video. Okay, that's enough of the pigeon. So moving on, I'm going to start rounding up this video now. We wanted to sort of give an honourable mention to a few products that we use consistently throughout the year, every year really. So these are our honourable mentions of 2020.
Honourable mentionables.
So I'm going to start off with cards. Now, cards are the bane of everyone's life, really, aren't they, memory cards? But it is something this year that we've definitely seen changing. We're seeing more people using CF Express as a standard, CF Express Type B, which are like XQDs, and CF Express Type A, which Sony are bringing in with the FX6, and with the A7S III, which are mini. They're like SD cards. Now, what the good thing about this is that as more people are using these type of cards, it will bring prices down over time. They're quite expensive at the moment, but it will bring prices down as they become just the standard, really. I don't know about you guys, but it's you do have to do a bit of research, don't you, onto what you can actually shoot on the level of card.
Yeah, you really do have to cater what like bit rates you're shooting at for what you have to record it to. Just because you have any old SD card doesn't mean you'll be able to shoot the full whack in most cameras, especially now because all the bit rates between different ranges, it is staggering like how different they all are.
It's not just memory cards that we use consistently. We don't know about you guys, but cleaning products are something we use big time. Now, this is something we use every year. Obviously, 2020, cleaning products have become kind of a big deal.
A little bit more than usual.
Yeah,
pretty essential.
Bit more than usual. Pretty essential. Now, on the inside of the camera, you know, don't spray Dettol in there, but you do need to keep your sensor clean. From us, one of our biggest pieces of advice is just look after that sensor. This year, we've seen an even bigger push towards mirrorless cameras. And mirrorless cameras are like vacuums to dust. They are literally like onto the sensor.
So true.
So bad. Great that Canon actually, the R5, when you change lens, same as the EOS R, you change lens, the sensor, the manual shutter covers the sensor. Every camera should be doing that.
Amazing.
But for some people, for some cameras that don't do that, or maybe you've taken your lens off when you shouldn't have, the sensors do get dirty. Now, from a stills point of view, it's a pain. You have to do some editing, and it is a real pain. But from a video point of view, George, I know you've had this problem on a couple of videos.
I mean, there's nothing you can do about it on video. You can't be going and touching all your shots up and stuff. So the only real solution to this problem is just to not let it get dirty in the first place. And that is to make sure you're cleaning it regularly, make sure that you've got all of the tools at hand, and also make sure that every once in a while you clean that sensor. And again, I'd recommend getting that professionally done. I know it's a bit annoying to have that expense, but your sensor is the most delicate and most valuable part of your camera. It's the bit you really, really, really don't want to mess up. So I would always recommend getting it professionally done, so they're going to do a really, really top-notch job. Yeah,
definitely good to keep those sensors clean. Now, the other part of the camera we now need to keep very clean are the outsides. Now, this year, obviously, guys, during the summer when lockdown had finished in the UK, we were able to socially distance meet. We were trying to keep everything clean between us. We were all using the cameras, we were wearing gloves, we had masks on, we were using wipes between things, we were trying to get the environmentally friendly ones, we were using sprays, but not every camera is weatherproof. Some things you just can't get wet, and it was becoming a little bit of an issue. Now this brings me to another product, and I'm going to round up with this because I love this thing, and I actually haven't told you two about it because I wanted a live reaction of what you guys thought. Okay, so I have something in my bag of goodies. Now I want to know what you think this is.
What's in the bag?
What's in the bag? Right, this is it. This is what's in the bag. Any ideas?
Hair straighteners. Hair
straighteners. Do you know what? I'll show you why you're relatively close in a minute. George, any guesses?
I wouldn't care to say.
So
I'm not going there.
So the reason, do you know what, Shawn? You were quite close with the hair straighteners because it does do this.
Ooh.
So.
Oh, yeah.
But no, you're still incorrect, and that pulled my hair so badly. I shouldn't have done that. So it does come all the way out like that. Shutting.
Oh, it's a light.
Out it comes. So it's a light. So inside there are lots of lights, but you can't stare at these because this produces UVC light. It's actually a cleaning device.
What?
Pretty cool. I know. So I'm not going to turn this on camera because it actually comes with goggles to protect your eyes.
Where are they?
No, I have hidden them away. I am absolutely not wearing them on camera. They look like builder's goggles. But what we have on the side here is a little switch. It's a safety catch. So you pop that on and then you just simply click the button. And when I actually do it for real, it would emit a purple light, which is UVC light. And you simply wave this across your cameras, your lenses, whatever you want, and it will kill the bacteria. Now, yeah, it's pretty cool.
That'd be good for the carbon footprint, no?
Really good for a carbon footprint. So you're not having any, this is completely reusable. It's USB charging, which I love. What I would like to say is I did do quite a bit of research into this, quite a lot of research actually, and it is such a well-used method. UVC light is really well used in order to kill bacteria. It's used by a lot of hospitals, used by a lot of scientific things, so it's something you can trust. And I've actually been using this on all my deliveries from you guys and from manufacturers and things like that to stop, upping that carbon footprint and getting loads of harmful stuff out there. I've been using this and it's been fantastic the whole summer. I haven't caught anything, so we're all good. So I would assume that means it works. But yeah, really, really impressed with this. This is the box for it. I've got it here. That was the end of those boxes. Just dropped on the floor. So it's by V7 Healthcare. It's called the 59S, and it shows it actually on the box that you can use it for things like keyboards as well. This isn't just photography equipment. This can be used in offices, all around the house, whatever you want. So I think for a lot of people, especially like studios maybe as well, have got big workstations, people hot desking. When this lockdown's over in England, of course. And when things calm down next year, people still want to be being safe. And I think these sort of things could really help people with that. So absolutely. I really like that. I think it's really cool. Loved your guess of hair straighteners though, Shawn. absolutely rate that as a guess. I love that you think I'd bring that into the photography and video review.
What else could I have thought it was?
But that's going to round up this review of the products that we've got our hands on this year in terms of accessories, gadgets and gizmos. Now, if you've got anything else you'd like to pop into the comments that you think people would love to see, little bits and bobs that we haven't covered, and there has been a few bits, then make sure to stick them in the comments. Any questions you've got on any of this stuff, make sure to pop it there. And of course, all of this we haven't necessarily released videos for yet. There is still stuff coming through. So make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss anything. But for now, a massive thank you from us for tuning in to this year in review of 2020's accessories, gadgets and gizmos and hair straighteners.